Yeah. YouTube family, what's going on? Let me get IG right real quick. Ain't No Money in Poetry live stream series brought to you by Mr. B Rockstar, powered by Star Power. We got a dope topic today. Today's topic is sad poets need Jesus. Sad poets need Jesus, y'all. Sad poets need Jesus. Sad poets need Jesus. Let me put it in here. What up, IG? Hold up. Sad poets need Jesus. Sad poets need Jesus. If you are watching this from Instagram, make sure you DM the word mantra. DM the word mantra to me. A lot of y'all live performers, y'all get real nervous before y'all get on stage and y'all don't know what to do with those nerves. DM the word mantra to me right now. I'm going to send you something absolutely free. It's a list of mantras, and it's also a formula of how I put together my mantras. This mantra is going to help you convert that nervous energy into good energy, okay? YouTube, we are live. Hey, y'all, we live on YouTube, actually, but I like to have my Instagram family tune in as well. Today's topic in Ain't No Money in Poetry is sad poets need Jesus. Shamanaya! Should about a Honda. Instead, he forgot Wakanda. Okay, so sad poets need Jesus. I'm gonna jump in case you didn't know, this is Robert Glasper featuring a lot of amazing spoken word artists. His album, this is fitting. The name of the album is called F Your Feelings. So as we talk about sad poets needing Jesus, F your feelings, because it's holding you back. You got to turn that energy into something else, man. You got to get it out, but then you also have to heal, man. You got to have some hope involved in your life, and that's what we're going to get into today. Once again, DM the word mantra. If you're having really bad anxiety before you talk to people, get in front of people, DM the word mantra so I can send you something. Like I said, absolutely free. It's a list of mantras. It's a formula for the mantras that I put together myself, that I used in my resource center and program. So let's just dive right in, y'all. Let's dive right in. Sad poets need Jesus. Why is this the topic today? We're talking about trauma poets. Come on, somebody. We're talking about crying poets. We're talking about loud for no reason poets. Yes, these are also sad poets. I think when people up there being super angry like that, it's really rooted in some sort of sadness or disappointment that they're experiencing in their life. And it's very important that we talk about this topic today because it's holding you back from living your best life as a live performer. Sad poets need Jesus. This goes into the fundamental difference that I talk about between spoken word and poetry. I talk about this a lot. When it comes to poetry, do what you want, write what you want, say what you want, get it all out. That's what it's for. That's what the page is for. But when we take that poem and turn it into a piece, when it goes from the page to the stage, when it goes from poetry to spoken word, or when it goes from a drawing to a painting, it's a different set of rules involved now. Now we're dealing with a certain level, a certain degree of accountability. Because when you turn poetry into spoken word, now you're intentionally downloading those feelings onto other people. Right? So with that said, you have to be very mindful about the type of energy that you're putting out there into the communities that you belong to. Some of us are creating this perpetual world of sadness and hurt and pain because that's the energy that we're putting out. So that's the energy we get back when we don't realize that life works on a cycle. It's a circle. You know what I'm saying? You have good times, and you have bad times, and you have good times, and you have bad times. And what happens is we get so stuck on the bad times, we don't even really enjoy the good times like that. Then it gets bad again. I'm like, see, I told you it's bad. And it's like, no, bro, that's life, bro. It's the circle of life. And that's why we have to address this topic today, y'all. If you need help, just say that. Some of us are getting on stage and we calling it venting, but I think we're disguising that as venting when really it's a cry for help. And I just want to lead with that first and foremost. If you need help, talk to us. Spoken word, the poetry community is very embracing of a lot of these things that, you got your phonies and, your balonies and all that stuff. But for the most part, it is a great place to heal. It is a place to where people are willing to hear. and listen to what you have to say. That's the essence of what spoken word poetry is. We're all sitting in a room listening to what this person has to say. So like that's kind of like a superpower, a special power that we already have. I'm gonna go ahead and be honest. I'm gonna take a couple shots at slam today, because I think slam poetry started this crying shit. All of this extra hard crying on stage for during your performance, I think this started in poetry slam. And the reason I say that is because people were doing that to get better scores. They felt like if the judges saw them crying, the best way I can get to them is with my pain. And that's why we're having this conversation right now. Sad poets that need Jesus are using their pain to advance themselves in life. And of course, a lot of popular artists, what I'm saying, that we know of, especially in rap, they do this a lot. Oh man, I'm from this, I'm from that, I came out of this, and we went through the rags and the rats and the roaches and all this other stuff, and I done seen people get killed and all this other stuff. My head is messed up and and we kind of like embrace this kind of painful culture as normal. We've kind of normalized pain. We've normalized sadness. We've normalized constantly being depressed and hurt and traumatized by things, and not putting enough energy and enough emphasis on the solutions and the healing and the answers. And what you have to remember is that you are the answer to all of your problems. Anything that you're going through, you can't blame women, you can't blame men, you can't blame your parents, you can't blame your kids, you can't blame your teachers, you can't blame racism, you can't blame anything. You are always the answer to your problems. You have to remember that. You have to remember that. But I think Poetry Slam kind of put us in this space where I gotta cry and do this extra stuff so I can get better scores on stage. And it's kind of translating and kind of bleeding over into spoken word poetry in general. I think that is a real thing. Intentionally picking at your wounds is not okay. That's really what we do when we have these traumatizing, and I'm not, excusing myself, especially in the beginning of my journey. My first album was very painful, very, very painful. It was police brutality and all these other things, and I was just hurt. I was really, really hurt, and there was no hope at the end of that album. And that's what we're gonna end this live on in a little minute. But let me see, I got some notes here, y'all. Okay, here's a good note. These same poets have $1 million voice, but use it to hurt instead of heal. They are stuck in the winter as if they don't know spring is right after that. Many of these sad poets who need Jesus are actually amazing, talented artists. They are some of the best spoken word artists you actually will ever hear in your life. And you can hear it because of the passion behind their words. They are powerful, but instead they use it for evil. They use it to continue to stay in this state of pain and hurt and regret and pity and shame and just all of these crazy words, right? When really you need to empower and uplift and inspire and engage and believe and manifest and pursue. These are words, these are energy words that we need to be focused on when it comes to spoken word, because as sad poets, we really, 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 really get caught up in this cycle, man. That passion could really be saving lives, but instead it just reminds others how shitty it really is. Right, you know what I'm saying? That's I basically just said that. You know what I'm saying? They're passionate, they're so passionate, their passion could be saving lives, but instead it just reminds them how shitty life really is. Sad poets need Jesus! Lord have mercy. Help them. Help them, Lord. We're going to help them. We're going to help them. That's why we're here right now doing this live, because we want to help. I want to help. I'm not saying this to just pick at people, pick at your wounds and all this other stuff, or say you're less than or not. I want to push you. That's why I do these lives. Ain't No Money in Poetry is here to push you. We're here to have these conversations that not many people are having. We're all thinking this stuff, but nobody's really facilitating the conversation. And it is so important. It is so important. It is so important. I disagree. There is value in people expressing their sadness. Catch the live from the very beginning, because we really getting into all the songs. There is value in expressing their sadness. What I'm explaining is that sad poets stay in the sadness. You're supposed to express it. You're supposed to get it out. Like venting is one thing. That's what I said earlier. I said they're disguising venting as really a cry for help. They really are crying out for help, but they're saying, I'm just venting, I'm just getting it off my chest. This needs to be a safe space. I just want to say what I got to say, and that's it. No, no. As a spoken word artist, you have a responsibility. There's accountability involved with spoken word, not poetry. Poetry, write it down, get it out all day. You let a couple people hear it, you know what I'm saying, who are really close to you. But when you go out into public and you start intentionally downloading those feelings onto other people, you are now intentionally making everybody sad around you. There's a huge difference. These trauma poets need to stop because we're just pushing out trauma and not bringing anything back for us to really grow and heal from. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing wrong with expressing yourself, expressing your sadness. However, what's next? Because life is on a circle. We have bad times, we have good times, we have bad times, we have good times. But a lot of poets, come on now, if I'm talking wrong, correct me. But a lot of poets are stuck in the bad times. They're stuck in the pain. They're stuck in the yelling and being upset and mad about this and mad about that. When that same energy, that same passion, that same power can be used on the other end. You feel me? Spiral up. But they're not gonna reach people who aren't sad. They're not gonna reach people who aren't sad. I don't even know how to even address that statement. They're not gonna reach people who aren't sad. Let me see. Maybe I missed a word or something. I don't live in it though, right? Okay, transmute. Right, transmutation is a real thing, but they're not gonna reach people who aren't sad. I disagree. And we're gonna go in deep into the live, and I'm gonna explain to you why I disagree. Are y'all familiar with a woman named K Love the Poet? K Love the Poet. K Love the Poet has a voice, first of all, a very distinctive voice. But she has a voice that sounds like a sad poet who found out they didn't have to be sad no more. She sounds like somebody who overcame the sadness, and now she's using her journey and the things she's been through to help pull you out of that. You feel me? Now, there's a difference between trauma poets and K Love the Poet. You feel me? Because K Love the Poet, she addresses the trauma, but then she implants seeds of greatness. She reminds you that you're great almost at the end of every stanza. Forget the end of the poem. At the end of every stanza, she lets you know that you're great. What I'm talking about are the poets that aren't doing that. There's live artists, live performers who are not doing that. They are stuck in the matrix of pain. They are stuck in the matrix of pain. You feel me? Like I said, you can hear her pain turn into power with every performance. And that's what I'm getting at. You have to turn your pain into power. If you really, really want to be successful as a spoken word artist, or if you want to have any type of success as a spoken word artist, or any type of real impact, then you have to learn how to turn your pain into power. And if you follow people like K Love the Poet, you'll be able to do that. Y'all need K Love. Sad poets need K Love. Yeah, that's what I wrote. Sad poets need K Love, aka sad poets need Jesus. I just compared a black woman to Jesus, but you know, I think that's fitting. Anyway, they're both powerful. Anyway, I think it's very, very important. You have to spend less time around people who are going through it and more time around people who went through it. I think I just said something. You have to spend more time with people who went through it and less time with people who going through it. Because if you just going through it, how, like, and going back to that comment that was made earlier, you know what I'm saying? If I don't say a sad poem, I can't reach the sad people. Okay, but then what? We just gonna be sad in the same room looking crazy, crying and shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, no. The difference between these two people, the trauma poet and the K Love the Poet, is that the trauma poet is gonna keep you in the trauma. The trauma poet is gonna keep you in that sadness. But the K Loves, the Jesus, I use Jesus as the example because this is an example of somebody who went through the worst, was killed by the community that he was trying to help. What's more traumatic than that? However, still rose to his higher self to deliver and do these amazing things for countless people. You feel me? Now, I'm not getting religious or nothing like that. I don't know your preferences or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I have my issues with Christianity as well. But from the metaphoric standpoint, from what the story is and what it's supposed to mean, we can grab something from that. And what we can grab from that is that you can go through a whole bunch of stuff and still be an amazing person. You can go through a whole bunch of stuff and still have something positive to say on that stage. And when you get on that stage, you have to remember that you have an accountability. These people's emotional well-being is in your hands for 3 to 5 minutes. So what you do with that 3 to 5 minutes matters. You feel me? And if you get up there and say, hey, I just need to vent real quick. Okay, cool, vent. But if it sounds like you really need help, I'm calling you out, bro. Like it's not the same thing. We're calling it poetry when really it's just a therapy session disguised with metaphors. Ooh, we done went to therapy in the middle of an open mic. God damn. Sad poets need Jesus, y'all. They need Jesus. In conclusion, how long I've been on this live? I got the thing turned around. Let me see how long I've been on here. Oh, we almost done. Yep, 15 minutes. Yep, I get 15 minutes out of me. I get 15 minutes out of me. So in conclusion, hope. Implant hope. Norel, what's good? That's right. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Let me see. I don't want to. That's a bar. Right. Turning my transgressions into gold. Right. It is, because it is gold. It is gold. But you have to get through it in order to see that. You don't really know how powerful it was. When you're going through something, you just kind of going through it. But after the fact, you see how well it built you up. You see how tough it made your skin. You see how you were being redirected to your true calling, to your true blessing, to your true path that you're supposed to be walking down. You feel me? But you don't see that until you get to the other side. And what I'm saying is trauma poets, sad poets, they stay inside. They don't get to that other side just yet. But the way you get to that other side is to implant hope. You have to implant hope, y'all. You have to implant hope. And that's what my first album did not do. My first album did not have hope. And I kind of lost a lot of momentum. We kind of get into the business side. You know, I got to bring in the business side. Ain't no money in poetry. This is why ain't no money in poetry. Because we as spoken word artists, we're sending people out pain and not giving them something to grab onto to understand that joy comes in the morning, right? And somebody who does that really powerfully, why do I keep saying powerfully? I like that word. Anyway, somebody who does that very powerfully is just popped in my mind, my dog Just Mike the Poet. If I'm correct, one of his tours was actually called Hope is on the Way. Hope is on the way. Now, let me ask y'all, what tour would you pay tickets, what would you buy tickets for? Hope is on the way or I'm mad and this is why? Which one you buying tickets to? You know what I'm saying? And whichever one you buy tickets to displays where you at in your journey. You feel me? Do you want to stay in this hurt, or do you want to get through that hurt? You know what I'm saying? It is so important, y'all, that we are very mindful about our words and about the energy we put behind these words. Sad poets need Jesus. You don't need to be at an open mic. You don't need to be in front of us, you know what I'm saying, downloading your trauma onto us. You need Jesus, my friend. And if only you should just find a little mustard seed within yourself and come on that. No, I'm playing with y'all. No, it's very, very important. It's very important. It shows where you are. Yes, it does show where you at in life. It shows where you're at in life. In conclusion, y'all, implant hope. So real fast, back to what I was saying before I got on my Jesus tangent. My first album, it did well, so I had 100 copies. I sold it for $10. I moved all 100. That's $1,000. This is when I was doing hard copies before I was on the streaming services, Apple and Tidal and all that stuff. And the feedback from the album wasn't what I anticipated it to be. And I kind of lost momentum because for this to be my first album, I still had a really strong hold on the college that I belonged to, which was a big part of the beginning of my popularity as a spoken word artist. I lost a lot of momentum because they heard the album. It was powerful, but the energy behind it. Now, granted, some of my best poems are on the album. Ex-King, the split personality poem between Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Great Men, We Are Black. It's a lot of classics on that album. But overall, I was just listening to the last track last night just because I wanted to I was getting ready for this today. And I was like, what is this last track? The last track is called Chaos Lyrical. It's about going to war with my words. Now, granted, it does have a it tickles the fence. It's really tickling the fence on, you know, trauma and growing from that trauma. You feel me? But the albums after that and all of my albums since then have been very intentional about the hope, about inspiring and empowering people despite the things that I've been through. Bro, I am the quintessential example of somebody who does not look like what he's been through. I am the quintessential. Hey, what's going on, y'all? A lot of my new people coming into the Instagram. I am actually on YouTube Live. We're talking about this is Ain't No Money in Poetry live stream series. We're about to wrap it up right now. I don't look like what I've been through. I really, really don't. And that's because I've written so much work that has helped me do the work. I've written so many works that have actually helped me do the work. You have to do the work. It's called shadow work. You feel me? I've done a lot of shadow work through my spoken word and poetry. There are so many poems that no one will ever hear because I realized it was not meant for them. It was meant for me. It was meant for me to reflect and to understand and to grow and to expand my mind and my heart and my spirit. You feel me? And if I decide to use those pieces, it has to be used in a feature set. Why does it have to be used in a feature set? And this kind of goes back to what somebody was saying earlier about the sad poem and, you know, letting people hear the sad poem. So it's very important if you just got one poem, I don't suggest that you just do the sad poem. But if you have a feature set, I suggest, yeah, you do the sad poem, and then the next piece, you give them hope. You give them empowerment. You give them direction. You give them guidance. It is so important as live performers, as public speakers. If you decide that you want to speak in front of people, you have a certain degree of accountability to provide people hope, light, empowerment, and guidance. That is your mission. That is your goal. That is what you need to be on. Otherwise, you're just a sad poet that needs Jesus. And that's all I got today, y'all. Like I said, these things are 15 minutes. It's been like 19 minutes. I want you to right now DM the word mantra. If you get real nervous when it comes to people, and that's the one thing I think sad poets also need, are mantras. You need a mantra. You need something, a performance mantra that you say to yourself right before you perform when you get real nervous so that you can convert that energy into good energy that actually helps you on stage. It is so important, y'all, that y'all tap in with this mantra. DM the word mantra to me right now. I'm going to send you something for free. It's a list of mantras that I've helped people develop in my courses, and it is also a formula for how I developed my personal mantra. You're going to see my personal mantra, the formula, and then a list of different examples so you can see that there's no right or wrong way to do this. It's whatever words help you, uplift you, inspire you to be great and to convert that energy. That's what you're going to do. I'm Mr. B Rockstar. That's all I got for y'all. I appreciate y'all. Next week topic is going to be super, super dope. I'm going to drop the, I think I like this kind of process of like dropping the list in the in my story and letting y'all kind of choose which topic is next. Cause a lot of people was like, yo, sad poets, do the sad poets, do the sad poets. So we did sad poets today. But yeah, that's all I got, y'all. I got to get back to work. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. That's it. What is up with, oh my God.